Playing.
Oh, yeah, your iPad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Camera, you ready?
Yes, sir, I am. Let me just plug this in. Yeah, I mean, I'm not ready for a pop quiz on it, but yeah, I'm ready. Yeah.
Come on, we love pop quizzes.
Did you read it?
Jack, what are you signing?
So I can speak.
Well, we've got some
Board
really
meeting.
big gaps.
About this.
Really big.
You missed the deadline.
Do what?
Jim said there wasn't anybody signed up.
Oh, Jack Mathers, I just couldn't read his writing.
Okay. Good evening. Would you stand for the invocation, pledge of allegiance, please? Rod?
Let's pray. Father, Lord, we come to you thanking you for today. We thank you for this season where we can celebrate your birth, Jesus. And we just pray that somehow through this time, Father, we can be kind to one another, we can show compassion, we can be joyful, we can be thankful, Father. We just pray now that you watch over everyone here, be with their prayer requests, Father, their needs. Thank you for our citizens, the employees of Vienna, Father, that they do represent the city. I pray that they'll have safe, they'll be safe when they're out doing their work for Vienna. We ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is this yours? Last year.
I'd like to call to order this regular session of the Vienna City Council for December the 14th, 2023. Let the record reflect that I've taken roll, that all members of council are present this evening. Having a quorum, we will proceed. First item is our public forum. We have one person who has signed up this evening, Mr. Jack Mathers.
Yeah, I didn't know about this information until this Saturday. So what I wanted to share with you is the book, Vienna, Discovering Vienna, that you've heard about, that was that we've been selling here in the community. And it's a history book about discovering Vienna, naturally. But what I wanted to tell you was, last Saturday, I received a telephone call, and it was from Tina Allman, who's the author of the book. And she was pretty excited because this book had been entered into international competition. I knew it had been entered, but along with all different types of publications, it's considered for its design, artwork, many different aspects about it. It was a juried competition. The award for this book would be in Milan, Italy. And she was notified Saturday that the book about Vienna was in the top three, placed in the top three. They wouldn't tell her if it was number 1, 2, or 3. So she will be at the award ceremony, which is a red carpet ceremony. They've already instructed her on what she's supposed to wear and everything, and it's a big ceremony. But she will be there on July the 18th to find out where this book placed. The pretty cool thing about it is the book, I guess, will be held in eternity in a beautiful area where they store a lot of the artworks and publications and different things, and it'll be displayed. It's also going to be shown in 5 countries at 10 different shows that they'll be doing in 5 different countries. So it's going to be displayed quite a bit. We're pretty excited about it. We're pretty excited that the name Vienna is going to be shown in different areas. And I don't think there's ever been anything that could match this out of the area. But she did a wonderful job with the book. I mean, if you take the time, you go through it and you see the art and everything that she's put in there and the layout and research for the book. It's, I think it's really quite an honor for the city of Vienna for this book to be there, to be shown and to be winning. So that's all I wanted to do, was just come and let you know that it's pretty exciting, I think. So that's That's all I had.
How much is it?
It's $80 for the book. Okay, good. Thank
Me
you.
as well, Jack, whenever they're ready. Me as well.
Got mine yesterday.
All right, Jack, thank you. The minutes from the special council meeting on November the 27th, 2023 have been printed, posted, and circulated. Are there any corrections to the minutes? If there are no objections, then the minutes will stand approved as posted. Report of the treasurer, Councilman Leach.
Got that, bud. Reconciliation of funds for City of Vienna for December 7th, 2023 have been received, reviewed. The accounts appear in order. It's dated for Pearl Harbor Day. I'd note another thank you to our veterans, and the city is financially solvent.
All right, thank you. We have no unfinished business this evening, so we'll move right into our agenda this evening. The first item on it is a presentation by the Triple W for the Vienna Bicycle Trail Network signage.
Some handouts for you all. I want to thank you all for the opportunity to present this plan
Thank you.
and allow me to work on it and our agency to work on it as well. Happy to share the results with you. Thanks. Absolutely. You're very welcome. All right.
Thanks, sir.
Alrighty. So Triple W was tasked with the opportunity to create the trail network signage plan. I know recently you all adopted the trail network that our agency presented as well. Chris and I have worked closely together to complete this project. It's been really exciting. One of our main focuses was reducing the unnecessary signage where applicable. And this plan, it's hard to see. I know it's difficult with the scale of this. That's why the handouts as well. The first page is the completed signage plan. So that was just to introduce you all that it is completed. I can get you guys the PDF as well. If you would like, Chris has it as well. We can get that sent over to you, and it's more immersive. If you look on page 2, it's the completed trail network. And then on page 3 is the actual signage inventory totals. It's around around 18 signs for the entire city. Again, that's the entire trail network. Around 60 of those is custom trail signs. Triple W developed at trail crossings and junctions. Custom trail signs to help eliminate unnecessary directional signage and to kind of create this plan to be independent for the city of Vienna. And one thing that we wanted to do was give you all an opportunity to eliminate some of those signages. We're able to combine them potentially into one and have that number from 60 to 30, but it would be around the same number and size of sheet metal. So it really wouldn't change the overall cost, but it would get it below that number of 300, which I know Chris emphasized early in the process.
Let me stop you for just a
Yeah, go
minute.
ahead.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Triple W is something I'm so familiar with.
Yeah.
Would you tell everyone what Triple W is?
Absolutely, please. Yeah.
That's my fault.
Sorry. No, it's okay too. This is one of my first public presentations with our agency, so this is going to be more of a question and answer too at the end. Triple W is a local metropolitan planning organization in the area. Mayor Rapp sits on our policy board. We work with Wood and part of Washington County for transportation, active transportation, bicycle-related safety needs. And that's kind of an overview. Again, we were tasked originally, I know Chris reached out to us for the network. The network was adopted by you all. The signage plan has been in the works for about 6 months. I know it was greenlit by Mayor Rapp, and Chris asked me to come present to you all and kind of go over the plan to let you know it's completed, to see if you have any questions. I know he's done some cost analysis of the plan, and we can talk about the impacts and potential. I know there's a lot of benefits to it, so that's kind of the overview of that. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Thank you. Yeah, my bad. But yeah, so that's where we're at with that. And I have some examples at the end as well for scales to signs. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into this actually. So to kind of give you an idea, Parkersburg has a currently implemented trail network. And here's an example. This is actually outside of my house of what they have done. This is one option, right? You see the stop sign, the additional sign pole with the bike route sign. We wanted to minimize the impact of signage clutter. So one thing that we did, if you see on the signage sheet on the page 3 that I gave you, there's new locations and existing locations. The new locations is an entirely new sign pole and signs. The existing location utilized a no parking sign, stop sign, where you can actually add or place under or above the stop sign, no parking sign, the additional signage. And that can be done through a pole bracket to help reduce costs and, again, avoid visual clutter. But this is an alternative as well. We recommended against that, but this is just for a visual representation as well. With those custom trail signs, we have other examples as well. So I'll move forward with this. This is a scaled stop sign right here. It looks a little different when you're not in a vehicle or pulling up to or walking beside of it. Pretty large. So the standard bike route sign is around the same size as a stop sign. It's pretty large. Sticking it on top or below. The MUTCD, which is the Manual Uniform Traffic Control Device Guide, recommends that signs should be placed anywhere from 6 to 8 feet from the ground. And you could effectively do that above or below. We wanted to create custom trail signs at each location to show where the specialized routes intersect. Because this plan is amazing because it connects elementary school to Sam's, to Spencer's Park, to Jackson Park. But these help the rider know where they're at all times, know when crossings happen, know what trail they're on, and stay oriented while they're using it. So this is a smaller version of that bike route sign. We created this. This is also standard. It's totally acceptable. It'll save on cost of sheet metal and not be as visually stunting on some of those locations where signage would be utilized twice, like a stop sign. It's not going to take away from that, but it will help you guys reduce costs and also avoid visual clutter. And here's an example of that as well with the custom signage. Again, a lot smaller, and then this can be eliminated as well, and you all can bracket these in the middle and avoid cross brackets and save money there as well. I guess I want to defer to Chris. I've talked many times. Do you have anything to add to this before I jump into the questions? Sorry. I want to thank you all for your patience with me.
No,
You're fine.
I just want to say, I appreciate the amount of time and effort that you guys have put into really kind of getting into the weeds and making sure that if we go forward with this, we have exactly what we need to go out tomorrow, essentially, and start putting signs up if we wanted to. So I know that you've put a lot of work into this, and I really appreciate that. And so that was kind of the reason I asked if we could, present this today, because I know that he's done a lot of work to make this happen. And this past year, we adopted the bicycle trail network. This kind of solidifies that a little bit more for the city. I know that we have the map and the trail network and stuff out there, but this does a lot of things for people. It just creates awareness generally for people that might be driving to know that these are the bike routes. It also helps guide people that are riding bikes to stick to these bike routes, and it just creates a safer traffic pattern when you think about bikes and cars and people. So there's, I think, a huge benefit to actually adding street signage like this. And I know Eric has been really diligent about trying to minimize the overall impact of the signs that we're using, but still making it so that you can find your way from one point to another with the signs that we have, and it still works as a trail network.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, one of our goals was to minimize signage clutter. This has been a very iterative process. It's been a lot of fun. It's been very interesting. I would be reluctant to say I want to see this be implemented. You know, I think its impact can't be overstated. The safety benefits, and with the Port Connector Trail too, hopefully being completed in the near future with the Pond Run extension as well. Kind of merging those two central business districts is crucial for our area, and I know that the cost does not outweigh the benefit at all. And I know Chris has had some cost estimations, and I'm not sure if you want to bring those up. I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
That's okay. Yeah, so I kind of took a stab at this just to kind of come up with a rough guesstimate. And this is, considering we have no signage at all in the city right now at all whatsoever. So when we look at 300 signs, that might seem really daunting, but when you look at the actual poles, we're looking at 120-ish actual poles that we're putting signs on. So I would say, like, worst case scenario, we're looking at between $15,000 and $20,000, which is not nothing, but when you consider that will cover the entire city of Vienna and establish a full trail network from this, Greenmont Elementary School down to Grand Central Mall, the impact of that is really significant, and I think it's well worth the investment for the city to try to help really establish not just an alternative mode of transportation, but a safer route for people and family and kids, and to raise awareness of, like, hey, people are going to be riding bikes on this street, so slow down a little bit and look out for that.
Exactly.
So I think there's a huge benefit to this, but.
If I could, I just want to speak particularly to the safety issue. And, myself, and I'm sure a lot of council has been in cities and areas where, there's systems like this. And if you're like me, the first thing I think of is start looking out, be on the lookout, because you've been notified that this is a bike route, and that, you need to be extra cautious and extra careful, in the areas that are designated by the signage. So I really like, I like the whole project, but specifically I like the safety factor of the program.
Chris and I, we discussed that in great detail, and that went into the process as well. Even with the creation of the trail network, is to let people know, hey, there's going to be bikes on this road, there's going to be walkers, there's going to be people here. If you don't like it, you can avoid it. And,
Sure.
And that's your choice. But hey, there's going to be plenty of indicators to look out, to slow down, to pay attention, and those are all good for safety. We've seen positive upticks in that in other places that have implemented changes like these. So overall, it's a net benefit to the pedestrians, the active transportation users, and the citizens of Vienna as a whole. It really kind of sets a precedent for the area as well.
Yeah.
I think this is a one-of-a-kind plan. Parkersburg has a trail network, but it wasn't implemented to this degree. And this is a citywide plan, and I think it truly will push Vienna. And I'm excited to be a part of it, and I hope that you all will too.
And when you look at the price of this, I mean, it may seem like a lot of money, but at the end of the day, in comparison to what this would apply to, the safety issues and the notification, it's really not all that devastating in my opinion. So, and so with that said, I'd like to thank you and Chris for your work on this. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Could you clarify the number for me? Early on, I had written down that there were 18 signs, but that's not right. You said something about 18 at some point. What was that? I think.
Let's clarify. So I know that I mentioned 60 signs, which was the custom signs. So
Okay.
in total, there was 318. There's 60 customizable.
318. I missed the 3.
Sorry.
Got it. Okay, I was like, I know I heard 18. Okay.
Sorry. But yeah, you can bring that number down to about 290, but the sheet metal will stay the same.
Okay.
We really tried to get it below that 300 mark, but it's just, this is the safest way possible to keep users oriented and traveling on the correct path without sticking inside
Okay.
everybody's yard and lawn.
Good.
Yeah, so-
I mean, I was sitting here counting, I'm like, I can't find, there's 18. Yeah, okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's something that we haven't had a great chance to do yet is we know the streets department just purchased a new sign maker and stuff. So we thought that this might be a really good opportunity to, learn how to use that well and get it implemented and see what we could do there. But that's something that we would still have to kind of figure out. But
Don't go there.
I have a comment.
Not for 318.
yeah,
That machine works fabulous, okay? We can make some of the custom signs, but for the bulk of the bike route and all of that, you need
Yeah,
to
the standard
just get
signs.
numbers. Oh, yeah, because,
okay,
I mean, literally, you'd have to dedicate an employee to do nothing but make signs, and
yeah,
we can
yeah.
probably
That's
order
something
them.
we can figure out.
But
for
we'll look
sure.
at it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
was-
machine works fantastic.
I was wondering about the same thing, but it makes sense what you just stated.
It's, I mean, it's very.
That's a lot of
expensive.
signs.
There's plenty of very affordable, like standard signs for bike routes that you can get. So I think that Chris goes into that, you guys will be pleasantly surprised with the cost numbers. So.
Yeah, I just want to mention something real quick. Well, first of all, this is fantastic. Thank you and Chris and everybody else who was involved in this. I think this is a real positive thing for our community and certainly helps promote healthy lifestyles, so we like that. But what I wanted to mention was, I don't know if you're aware, but in our parks, Spencer's Park and I believe Jackson Park, we have little bicycle repair stations. That might be information that may be helpful for this, so I wanted to mention that, so that can be considered.
Yeah, absolutely. I will take that input and add it. I will defer to Chris on those as well. And I'm sure Tracy would be happy to. The trail network as well. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anything else? All right. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Good job.
But one more thing, I'm sorry. Your name, first and last. Eric Wade? Got it. Thank you.
318, Eric Wade.
Got it.
All right. Second item on our agenda this evening is a resolution accepting a $15,000 grant from the West Virginia Division of Forestry to the City of Vienna. Be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Vienna that it hereby accepts a grant from the West Virginia Division of Forestry in the amount of $15,000. In accepting this grant, the City of Vienna agrees to match the grant in the amount of $15,000. The mayor or his designee is hereby authorized to execute any documents or agreements required to complete the acceptance of this grant. Jack, our city forester, is here with us this evening if there are any questions, but I will entertain a motion for the approval of the resolution accepting the $15,000 grant.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution accepting the $15,000 grant. Is there any discussion?
What is the grant designed for? I mean, what is the specific use, Jack?
Yeah, what will happen is the company that we chose will be coming into the city of Vienna and they'll be doing an inventory of all the trees that are on city right-of-ways. And additional planting sites that are on city right-of-ways or any tree stumps that need to be removed. The other thing that we put into the plan that we felt was pretty vital for this area was they had to have track training when they come in, which is tree risk assessment qualifications, where they're able to look and assess the hazard ratings on the trees and then consider the targets. Is there a house that this could hit? Is it an open field or what? And so what it would do would be make it where we can prepare budgets, be budgetary. There will, there's another phase to it that will happen, but this will be generally for the inventory and then for the software that'll come. It'll be stored at 60th Street, and it's pretty amazing software that could be all tree species, tree size, tree volume, and everything about it. And it's all color coded dots we can monitor. It'd be a good way to manage in the future. Younger people are coming to the field. I'm not going to be here forever, and it'll be a good tool for people coming in.
The money for our match is already in Jack's budget, so there won't be a budget revision or anything. This is simply Jack was aware of this grant, and so he put that in there ahead of time, so
Yeah, the state's been trying to encourage us to do this for quite some time. They're pretty happy with our programs and everything that we do. So, I just thought it was a good thing to get it done.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm very sure that they'll be all-inclusive on trees they looked at and find them, but we have the opportunity to suggest some.
Yeah, you're welcome, yeah. You can let me know. I'm going to work with them on the project. One of the things, we'll be looking at trees and in the parks. They're not going to be back in the McDonald Wildlife Refuge, but it'll be in the park proper areas where the congregations and people will be looking at trees there. We'll also be looking at some of the off-site, off-point trees that aren't necessarily on the right-of-way. They won't be going on people's personal property. But we'll be getting records of those trees that present public safety hazards, even though they're on private property. We've had issues there in the past. Russ has helped us, and we've been able to deal with those problems.
So I got a selfish question, Jack.
Sure.
You've been down to my river lot. I've got those big cottonwoods. There are people in the city also, particularly right there in the quarter 46 when that big tree fell on their house and they cut everything off the property. Is there any opportunity for personal citizens to even say, we'd like to pay you to come and survey?
I
Or
can check on that.
I think there might be people that have interest. I would have interest in that at my own expense since they're here. Because because it's a safety issue for me as well. And so if you would follow up and let me know if there's any opportunity for us to privately contract with them to look at trees that residents have.
Sure. I'll be talking to them.
I might be interested too.
All right. All right, that's it.
Anything else? All right, then I'll call for the question. All those in favor of the resolution accepting a $15,000 grant from the West Virginia Division of Forestry, please signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Next item on our agenda this evening, Mr. Leach, I'll defer to you on the next one, please.
Sealed bids for the financing of a 2023 Hino XL8 truck for the street department were opened on November 28, 2023 at 10 a.m. with following results. United Bank, 3-year rate 5.05%, 4-year rate 5.24%, total cost $725.92, at 5.24 rate, $178,692.96. Country Roads Leasing, 3-year 4.15%. For a total payout of $172,459.44, 4-year at 4.25% for $176,329.44. Community Bank quoted 3 years at 6.99% for a payout of $179,510.80, 4 years at 6.99 for a total of $185,602.72. West Banco quoted 3 years at 6.23% for $177,048. Payout 4 years at 6.33% for $182,832 payout. After a careful review of the bid proposals, a recommendation for council approval from the Budget and Finance Committee for the financing of a 2023 Hino XL truck is Country Roads Leasing, 3 years at 4.15% for a payout of $172,459.44. Funding for the project is in the budget and city's general fund 01-57059.
I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the low bid from Country Roads Leasing for 3 years at 4.15%.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the low bid. Is there any further discussion?
Have to be thankful for a 4.15% rate.
Yeah, this is the one where we didn't get it out, and so the rates went up, so they kept it really close, so.
And we checked in Budget and Finance, these vehicles are available, and so we will be obtaining the vehicles at this interest rate.
Yes. All right. Nothing else. I'll call for the question. All those in favor of accepting the low bid from Country Roads Leasing, please signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, motion carries unanimously. The next item is a resolution. Mr. Leach again, please.
Sealed bids for the financing of two 2023 trucks for the Street and Parks Department were opened on November 28, 2023 at 10 a.m. with the following results. United Bank, 3 years, 5.05%, $215,040.96 payout. 4 years, 5.24%, $221,189.28 payout. Country Roads Leasing, again, 3 years, 4.15%, 212,580.36, 4 years, 4.25%. Payout 217,350.72. Community Bank, 3 years, 6.99%. 222, 121.16, payout 4 years, 6.99%, payout 229, 620.16. West Banco, 3 years, 6.23%, $219,132, 4 years, 6.33%, $226,320 payout. After careful review of the bid proposals, a recommendation for council approval from the Budget and Finance Committee for the financing of two 2023 Ford trucks is Country Roads Leasing, 3-year rate, 4.15% for a payout of $212,580.36.
Sold.
I've been practicing, I've been an auctioneer.
I'll entertain it.
Well, funding for the project is two line items, 540-4019 and 570-59.
All right, thank you. I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the low bid from Country Roads Leasing in the amount of 3 years at 4.15%.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the low bid from Country Roads Leasing. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, then I'll call for the question. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Next item on our agenda this evening is a resolution to accept the proceeds obtained as a result of the ongoing opioid litigation settlement and to create a fund to receive and expend those funds. At this point, we are doing nothing more than establishing a second bank account, an additional bank account, so that these funds can be deposited in it. There's some paperwork, some procedural paperwork that has to be done. And so in order to do that, we have to establish a independent bank account for that. We have not received any opioid settlement funds yet. There is some talk that we might get them by the end of the year, but who knows? But in order to meet the guidelines, we have to go out and establish an independent bank account for that. And so that's what this resolution is. It's a resolution to accept proceeds obtained as a result of the ongoing opioid litigation settlement and to create a fund to receive and expend those funds. Whereas the City of Vienna will receive funds from the ongoing opioid litigation settlement, and whereas these funds may require a separate fund that will be part of the budget for the fiscal year 2023-2024, and whereas these funds, upon receipt, will be established as Fund 026 Opioid Settlement. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Vienna that a separate fund is set out for fiscal year 2023-2024 to reflect the receipt and deposit of opioid litigation settlement funds, which shall be identified as Fund 026 Opioid Settlement. Any expenditures from said fund shall be in accord with the purchasing procedures set forth in the municipal ordinances and any budget appropriations approved by Vienna City Council. I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the resolution to accept proceeds obtained as a result of the ongoing opioid litigation settlement and to create a fund to receive and expend those funds.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution. Is there any further discussion?
Well, other than the comment you made, and it's getting pretty close to the end of the year, so, I don't know that we'd be looking for that. The other thing is, we do not know at this point the amount of these proceeds of these funds. Is that correct?
Not a guess.
Thank you.
Yep.
Is there a ballpark?
None, Tom. I mean, it's huge money, and they're gonna have a hard time with all that distribution and all that, so.
Part of it's not.
That's correct. Our part of it is not huge, but the amount of money that the state has to distribute is huge.
Substantial. Yeah.
All right, but you'll know, all this does is set up the account. All right. All right, then I'll call for the question. All those in favor of the resolution, please signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, resolution passes. Next resolution, I'm going to refer back to Mr. Leach.
We're talking, so we've got a couple of resolutions in here, I think that were part of that. Are we on internal budget revision number 3?
No, sir, we're on number
Jack's.
6, which is the acceptance of the justice assistance grants.
Okay, gotcha. The Council of the City of Vienna met on the Council of the City of Vienna met on, there's no date, with a quorum present, and passed the following resolution. Be it resolved, City Council hereby authorizes Randall C. Rapp, Mayor of the City of Vienna, to act on its behalf to enter into a contractual agreement with the Division of Administrative Services, Justice and Community Services to receive and administer grant funds pursuant to the provisions of the Justice Assistance Grant Program.
This resolution here is in the amount of $19,750. It is for the pro officer at Jackson Middle School. It's the same grant that we've had for a number of years, where we've been able to put one of our police officers up there in the school itself. So I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the resolution to accept the Justice Assistance Grant 23-JAG-14 for the pro officer at Jackson Middle School in the amount of $19,750.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the JAG grant. Is there any further discussion?
Is there any chance we could do something like this for the grade schools? There's 3 grade schools, and just having that cruiser car parked out front alone, I think, helps. Of course, it'd be better to have somebody inside too.
Well, this is a full-time position. This police officer is at the school every day, all day.
Right.
So in order to do the elementary schools, Tom, we would have to hire 3 additional police officers.
Well, this is a grant to help pay for it, right?
It is.
Is there any chance we get a grants for the other grade schools?
Maybe. I don't know. Chief Pfeiffer would be the one to answer that. This is the way we've always done it. And so I know everyone would like to have an officer.
Yeah, I'd like to have one.
I agree with Tom. As you're reading through this, I was thinking, it would be great if there was a way and a mechanism in the budget to where we could do this for all of our schools. The school safety issue is, I think, should be top priority.
You never know.
You don't, and it can happen anywhere. I mean, you look at Uvalde, Texas. They're community smaller than us, and the devastation could just be magnetic. It could be unreal.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. There's further discussion. I'll call for the question. All those in favor of the resolution accepting the justice grant, please signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, motion carries unanimously. The next item, Jim, is item number 7. It is another JAG grant.
This resolution, the Council of the City of Vienna met on date with a quorum present and passed the following resolution. Be it resolved that the City Council hereby authorizes Randall C. Rapp, Mayor of the City of Vienna, to act on its behalf to enter into a contractual agreement with the Division of Administrative Services, Justice and Community Services to receive and administer grant funds pursuant to the provisions of the Justice Assistance Grant Program.
This resolution is an acceptance of a justice assistance grant 23-JAG-15 for the officer assigned to the Drug Task Force in the amount of $25,000. I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the resolution to accept the JAG grant in the amount of $25,000.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the acceptance of the JAG grant for $25,000. Is there any further discussion?
Could we, if that's going to pay for our policemen on the drug task force, could we use that money to hire another
No,
for the grade schools?
no. We actually share this with the task force, so, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, any further discussion? Then I'll call for the question. All those in favor of the resolution accepting the JAG grant in the amount of $25,000, please signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item number 8 this evening, is an internal budget revision number 3. Councilman Leach.
Internal budget revision number 3 of the City of Vienna is for fiscal year 23-24. This is from Department Council, account 41023, the professional services capital outlay other. Move money from professional service to capital outlay for riverfront planning. Budget before the change, $30,000. Expenditure amount, $30,000. Budget after change, 0. The budget before change for the move is $50,000, addition $30,000, total budget after $80,000.
I'll entertain a motion for the approval of internal budget revision number 3 in the amount of $30,000 to be used for the professional services for the capital outlay for the riverfront planning.
So moved.
So moved and seconded that we approve internal budget revision number 3 for $30,000 for the professional services for the riverfront planning. Is there any further discussion?
I have something, Mayor. 41023 professional services, that $30,000, if council will recall, is money that was set aside for a comprehensive plan. As everybody is aware, for several years now, WVU has been working on a comprehensive plan for the city of Vienna. And because of COVID and other factors, they weren't able to conduct that plan in normal fashion. So there were no, open public input or anything like that. And we fear that there was going to be some deficiencies in the plan. And I know everybody on council received a draft copy of that comprehensive plan. It's completed now. It will have to be reviewed and, adopted. It'll have to go to the planning commission, back to council, et cetera. There's some glaring admissions in that plan. I think most notably, there's no mention whatsoever of the Manville property. There is on the riverside with Spencer's Landing and the park opportunities there, or recreational opportunities there, but nothing on the industrial side. So I feel strongly that we need to go ahead and keep that money that council allocated or set aside for a comprehensive plan if we need to go and supplement what we already have. And so I have been back and forth discussing it with Amy Roberts, Mrs. Roberts, who's of course the finance director. And
Did you copy me on those emails?
no.
I thought we had a resolution that asked you to do that, but okay, you didn't. I got it.
Anyway, so there is plenty of money in contingencies, which is, I guess it's line 999-99. It's $172,000 in there, basically. So I would like to amend this budget revision to move the $30,000 from 999-99 contingencies to 41058 capital outlay for riverfront planning.
And leave the 30,000.
Yes, in 41023 for the comprehensive plan. Yeah, we just leave that alone and come out of contingencies, which we do frequently, when we need to do these things. And I'll add this. I did have an opportunity to speak to Mr. Skogstad this morning on the phone, and he didn't see a problem with us being able to amend that tonight. So,
no, it's going to, instead of being a regular internal budget revision, which isn't going to require notification of the state, this would require, since we are moving from a department to a separate fund, would require a notification to the state for the budget revision. But other than that, I think you can make whatever amendments to whatever legislation you have. So I don't think that's an issue.
Will you remind me, you said you're moving to move the money from contingencies instead of
41023, professional services, where it's coming from now. The amount will stay the same.
Do we need a second for that?
We will.
Okay. I'll second.
So it's been moved and seconded that we amend the resolution for the internal budget revision number 3 from line item number 41023 to and I'm sorry, whatever the contingency line item is.
The
Okay.
999-99.
All right.
I'm like Herman Cain over here with the nines.
So there's an amendment on the floor to change the direction from where the allocation of funds will come. Is there any further discussion?
Just briefly, I think that it makes sense to leave that money aside to kind of further embellish the comprehensive plan. Because I think that we are well aware that the comprehensive plan that we received from WVU, while it checks the box for us, as you said, is probably going to be lacking. I haven't had a ton of time this week to review that, but I think we should definitely keep some money available to use for that for sure.
Mr. Leach, I know that you and I have had conversations about the comprehensive plan. What is your opinion, sir, on the comprehensive plan as you've read it?
So the comprehensive plan is 49 pages. The comprehensive plan is a blueprint for future planning and considerations for the city. And it's been a long time in work. Our last comprehensive plan adopted was in 2007. It's not even been considered by the Planning Commission yet, or considered for adoption by council. Part of the money that we're talking about for the riverfront planning is in furtherance, and in fact, in the so versus like Russ said, we have to notify the state. Right now, we've got a comprehensive plan that's been provided in draft form. There's been no indication that we need to make any substantial changes to that plan, and of course that's a matter of opinion that's going to depend on 7 votes on this council, right? So I'm opposed to changing it from the comprehensive plan line item at this point, and the going into the contingencies, and so I would oppose the motion.
I also agree with Mr. Leach. And Chris, I'm sorry, I'm going to put you on the spot. This whole project to bring in this riverfront planning company was brought in by you. And so I called you first and asked you about that because I didn't want to get into some kind of an issue, because we finally found a way to get this company to come in here because I think they're very qualified. All right. And so every year we have the same discussion about why do we have such a huge carryover at the end of the year. And I guarantee you that there's going to be an additional $30,000 carryover when we get done, because we're not going to spend that money on the comprehensive plan, because the plan that we've gotten from WVU is an excellent plan. I think based on the previous one, that, I mean, there's some really eye-opening numbers and statistics in there that show us the direction that we need to go to make the city of Vienna grow and prosper in the future. And so, I would never have gone with this if it hadn't been for you to say that, yes, you agreed with that. And so I think that the money that's in this budget revision should stay just where it is. And we move forward without going into contingency, because it's simply going to be another number that gets added to the carryover.
I understand. And when we had that conversation, I guess I wasn't entirely clear on what line item this was being pulled from. And hearing the explanation and knowing that some of the drafts that I've looked at from that comprehensive plan and seeing, I had like 30 minutes last night to look at this thing. And it talked about doing a survey of residents of Vienna, and something like 70 people responded.
72, and not everybody finished this survey. So
Yes.
and they never revealed what the number of those folks who actually did, which is going to be a very small number of people.
So
That's no different than it ever is.
Well, that's not true.
well, that's fine. I'm not going to dispute that, but I guess I understand that we need to use the money that we have set aside for certain things, but I don't see, if my concern is if we really get into the comprehensive plan and I have more than 24 hours to look at it before the meeting, we'll probably find some things that we probably should think about investing in developing further. I know the comprehensive plan is kind of a very broad broad piece of information that the city has. And I want it to actually be useful for the city and not just something that checks a box. So I guess I just wanted to make sure that if we need to do that, we have the opportunity to do so and don't kind of hamstring ourselves by pulling the money from it too soon.
So I kind of think in one way this is a really silly argument. I think that for several different reasons. But one thing I will say, while you're talking about money left in a budget that's going to roll over, rolling over to add to go to capital reserves is fine. I mean, we should be efficient with our money in how we plan our budget. But the way this was set up now, just so everybody knows, it goes into 41058, which already has $50,000 in it, $25,000 extra this year from previous budgets to do things to develop Spencer's Landing like this, okay? So if we took all the money that was encumbered in that line item, we're going to bring that down to about $500. Now, I know that there is potentially some unforeseen things that would need to be paid for to the DEP or Tom Rebar or something like that, but not $30,000 worth. But yet we're moving $30,000 into that line item so that for why? So it can be spent probably without a lot of oversight, which is what tends to happen at Spencer's Landing. I'm not trying to argue that point. My point is this. We have not had a chance to even review or discuss the comprehensive plan. So why would we take money from that, in case we need to go out and supplement it or get other information, when council agreed when we did the budget this year and last year, by the way, that we should keep that money, that $30,000 in the budget. Why would we do away with that now when we haven't even had an opportunity? Most people haven't even read it. I've skimmed it pretty good, but I can't say that I'm ready for the pop quiz on it. So this is no harm, no foul. It's just taking it from a different line, and like I said, I spoke to Mrs. Roberts. She's happy to do this. It's not an issue. And if it doesn't get spent, it can be rolled over or moved somewhere else for a different budget revision.
Mrs. Roberts is happy to do anything that this city council asks her to do. I just find it incredible that we get down to the last time when we worked on this thing for a extended period of time and gone back and forth on how to do this. And so when I have the conversation with our finance director, and her suggestion is that we take this out of the comprehensive plan line item, yes, we can take it from lots of places. Mm-hmm. But her recommendation was to take it out of this fund right here because it's not going to be spent, probably.
Right.
And we can always go in the future to capital reserve if we have to. But that's irrelevant. It's just, there's a plan in place on how to make this riverfront planning plan come together. And now at the last second, here we are going to do is upset the apple cart. All right?
It's not really the last second, Mayor. And it was the last second for me because I didn't learn about it until the agenda came out Monday after 9 p.m., which is normal. But I wish you would have picked up the phone and called me and said that you wanted to take it from this line item because I would have said.
I called Mr. Mancuso, who's in charge of this.
Well, that may be, but as everybody is aware, for the last two budget cycles, I have asked for that $30,000 for that comprehensive plan to be there. And now we're at the end where we actually need this money and you're trying to take it away. So, I mean, that's very disappointing. And like I said, and I don't see the reason for it. It makes no sense to me whatsoever.
So, a couple things. So, with respect to Monday at 9 and whatever, it's a little bit of the pot calling the kettle black. We have a resolution that you're supposed to send me these emails that you send to the finance director. You didn't bother. So I'm just finding out about it now.
That's right. And we've had that discussion before many times.
Exactly. And so just, your complaints about that are deaf ears on me. With respect to the speculation that something's going to happen with this comprehensive plan, I've read it twice thoroughly. It's 49 pages. I agree with the mayor. And it's speculation, just like it was speculation when we were talking about should we do the $3 or $4 million on the pool, and it was much ado about nothing. And instead of following our finance director's recommendation that it's unlikely but possible, and if so, we could address it if something needs done with the comprehensive plan, instead we're going to take it out of capital expenditures, notify the state, put additional work on our department heads, just because that's your preference. So I absolutely oppose any amendment to the motion, and I request that we vote on it as it stands.
We have a call for the question.
Okay.
I mean, Mr. Leach didn't say that, but that is when he asked for the vote.
Well, that requires a vote.
That's where we are. Okay.
Call for the question.
Okay.
So I'm sorry.
All right.
All right. So then I will call for the question. All those in favor of the amendment to take the money out of the contingency fund as opposed to line 410-23, please signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed to the amendment, please signify by raising your right hand. All right. The amendment fails. So we go back to the original internal budget revision number 3, and that is where the $30,000 will be taken out of 410-23 for the riverfront planning. Is there any further discussion on the original budget revision?
I'm going to vote for this budget revision only because I believe in what Mr. Mancuso is trying to do, and we've needed to do something down there as far as planning on Spencer's Landing for a long time. It's very disappointing that we have to do that at the expense of a comprehensive plan that may need to be supplemented, and it's very disappointing that there are several people on this council who cannot see the value of that plan and why we need to do that.
Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, we're going to start our budget planning and process next month for the fiscal year coming up. I mean, perhaps is it possible that, if we needed to address this further in the budget year, that we could do that?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. So no further discussion. I'll call for the question. All those in favor of internal budget revision number 3, please signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, motion carries unanimously. We're going to go into item number 9. It's a discussion on the economic development. I would like to pause for just a moment, a very quick pause. And so I'm going to ask that we take a very quick 5-minute break, and then we'll come back right out.
Actually, Judge, I'm going to request that we go, I'm going to make a Judge.
Gee,
Like I was a trial last week. The Mayor, I'm going to request, or I'm going to move that we go into executive session to discuss
Related real estate.
okay, we can do that.
I want to.
Okay. So is there a second?
I'll second it.
We've been moved and seconded that we go into executive session to discuss a real estate matter. That would be 6:57. All those in favor of an executive session, please signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed?